Greetings, YouTube. So last week I did a video about the fighter versus wizard and this constant battle amongst some in the gaming community. And it got me thinking about arcane casters in general. And where do I find the sweet spot for the complexity of arcane spellcasters? Now, I'm not talking about the level of magic. I'm not talking like high magic versus low magic. You know, like low magic setting like Conan or Iron Heroes or most Savage World settings would probably be considered low magic in many ways because they don't have a lot of powers and they don't have a lot of points to run them normally. Now, I'm talking about like your standard D&D or Pathfinder setting where you have different levels of complexity being used by different types of spellcasters. Now, over one end, you've got wizards. They don't have a lot of spells per day, but they have a huge amount of options. They literally have the opportunity to access every single arcane spell there is. And there's a lot of fiddly bits with playing a wizard. So as I mentioned in that other video, some people like that. And then you have the sorcerer, which is kind of in the middle here. And that's where you've got fewer options. The number of spells you possess is much smaller than a wizard. But you get to cast more of them, and in Pathfinder at least, there's a theme for each sorcerer, so that really kind of catches that you were born with the magic in your blood concept. I really happen to like that way that was done. And then, way over here, here I guess, sorry, would be the warlock. A 3.5 class, which was never properly translated into Pathfinder, but again, wouldn't be difficult to do. I've done a video on that. Where you have a really small number of abilities, one main ability, the Eldritch Blast, but you can do them every round. And almost all of them are based on the character themselves. A lot of self-buffs. There are very few abilities besides the Eldritch Blast that does anything beyond the Warlock. And I think that the psionic system really falls in the, sorcerer to warlock range. When you've got your scions who all have themes, don't have to memorize anything. They just get up in the morning and they've got their pool of PowerPoints and they're good to go. Along with the Psychic Warrior and the Soul Knife, which are also very much self-powered, very limited scope, but their abilities are usable almost all the time. And then you've got the Wilder, which falls somewhere between those two extremes. And there is a great version of the psionic system for Pathfinder put out by Dreamscarred Press, Psionics Unleashed. Highly recommended. See my review. So, looking at the scale I've just created between wizards and sorcerers, and with the whether sorcerers, wizards and warlocks with the sorcerers in the middle, where do I like them? Well, I fall in the sorcerer to warlock range. I don't want all the fiddly bits for a wizard. I know people who love that kind of thing, and every single one of them is some kind of an engineer or tied to some kind of technical field. Computers or electrical or mechanical engineers, and they all seem to love those little fiddly bits to play with, and it's too much work for me. Crafting the right kind of spell list for the upcoming adventuring day is an art form, and it's a wonderful thing to see when somebody can pull it off, but it's not something I want to spend my time doing. I prefer to have a character that gets up in the morning and they can just go because their spells are either sorcerers, they're just fueled because they're sorcerer-like, or a warlock, or because they're using PowerPoints and they're assigned a class. So that's where I fall on this scale. So I thought I would ask my viewers today, where do you fall on that scale? How much complexity and versatility do you like in your arcane spellcasters? Do you like lots of options with small amount of abilities, or lots of abilities with fewer options?